more I find you, the more I find you, the more I love you. I wanna sit at your feet, drink from the cup in your hand, lay back against you and breathe, feel your heartbeat. This love is so deep, it's more than I can stand. I'm melting in your peace, it's overwhelming. The more I see you, the more I find you, the more I find you, the more I love you. I wanna sit at your feet, drink from the cup in your hand, lay back against you and breathe, feel your heartbeat. This love is so deep, it's more than I can stand. I'm melting in your peace, it's overwhelming. I wanna sit at your feet, drink from the cup in your hand, lay back against you and breathe, feel your heartbeat. This love is so deep, it's more than I can stand. I'm melting in your peace, it's overwhelming.
So, but we're in this season of shift and of transition. And I want to start let's have a look at Isaiah 43. Forget the former things, do not dwell on the past, nor consider the things of old. Behold, I will do a new thing, now shall it spring forth, shall you not know it? I will even make a road in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. And that's God's promise to us. That's God's promise to you. Behold, I am doing a new thing. He's not telling us what it is. Don't you love that? You get this word like, okay, God, I'm doing a new thing. Well, whoopee-doo. That's really exciting, God. I don't know why he does that. Can't you give us something more meaty, something more concrete to hang on to? He just goes, it's kind of out there. But I think he's got this method in his madness, you know that, don't you? He's like, you've got to love him. He said, I'm doing a new thing. And if I told you what it was, you'd mess it up and you'd start working it out and how to do it, right? And so, it's good. We don't know. But we do know he's doing a new thing. Now, I don't know about you, I've been around church a long time, there's this sense that God doesn't change. The myth of the changeless God. Some of you go, not sure about that. Not sure about it. Sometimes we get this picture of God as this kind of stodgy character in heaven, and even as we're entering eternity, it's just going to be the same. The angels are going to be worshipping for eternity. They're going to be doing the same thing day in, day out. Nothing changes. And we're going to be doing this for eternity. And some of that thought, is, I remember the old hymn, I love this hymn, it's great is thy faithfulness, Oh God, my Father, I've got the key, but there is no shadow of turning with thee. Thou changest not, thy compassions, they fail not. Great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto me. So this. Now the line in that song, God doesn't change. It's true and it isn't true. God does not change in his character, in his nature. His view of holiness has never changed. His compassion never changes. His love never changes. His mercy never changes. God is absolutely consistent in his character and in his nature and who he is. That's fact. But sometimes we confuse that with the way that God chooses to express himself in any given moment. And so when something new comes along, we say, no. God doesn't change. And so we're not prepared to embrace the new because we're so comfy in the old. But you know something? God is so much a God of the new. He's a God of the new thing. He's a God of the new day. He's a God of the new moon. He's the God of a new season. He's the God of springtime and harvest. He's a God of the new. Behold, I am doing a new thing. He's a God of the new heaven. He's a God of the new earth. And so, in one sense, God is so consistent in that he doesn't change. But on the other hand, he's always on the move. He's always doing something. He's always up to something. He's always creating something. He's always making something. He's always thinking about something. He's thinking light years ahead of where we are right now. And so this change, this God that is bringing us into a new day, into a new season, into a new time, into a new hour, is going to do things differently. And that's really uncomfortable. And I tell you, I was struggling up here this morning. We're walking in. We're trying to find microphones. We're trying to find microphone stands. We're trying to find we can't find a thing. We used to know where everything was, and now we don't know where anything is. It's tough. It's beautiful. It's lovely. But we're not comfortable here. We're in a place of transition. Behold, I'm doing a new thing. Will it not spring forth? Will it not spring forth? Now that word, spring there, you can kind of get a picture of it. It just comes out of nowhere, like it wasn't there. And it's, will it not spring forth? It comes out of nowhere. It doesn't actually come out of nowhere. If you look at the word really is sprout. Will it not sprout up? Will it not come out of the ground? And it's the picture of the seed falling into the ground, as Mark's been saying, dying. And it's in there. Will it not spring up? Will it not sprout up? And before you see anything above the surface of the soil, there's the little sprout. It's there, preparing to stick its head above the ground. But before it sticks its head up the ground, it's developing roots so it can nourish itself. It's developing, a stem and a trunk or whatever that thing is. Will it not spring up? Behold. And so is that, in the spring, just when the smallest of buds suddenly comes up, there's a sense of new life. You can start to see it forming. And so God is saying, guys, I'm about to do a new thing. Will you not perceive it? Will you not grab hold of it? And the challenge that God is putting out to us today and for these next few months is for us to grab a hold of the new, to partake of the new. That word there, know, again, it's more than just a knowing. It's an intimate knowing. It's an intimate making it part of who you are and who we are. We're together, we're on this journey of perceiving the news, seeing it sprout forth, and then grabbing hold of it. But there's a condition right at the top of that verse, isn't it? It says, forgetting the former things, leaving the former things behind. And that's a tough process. It's not easy leaving stuff behind that you have worked for with your blood, sweat and tears, and to go, hey, that was yesterday's manna, it's not for today. That was serving God's purposes yesterday, it's not serving his purposes today. And you've invested with the sweat of your brow, and you know each one of us have had a part to play in that. You know, when we're packing up the old building, and you know Jack spent a day there, and he's pulling out cables, and he said, "I'll put these in here. I ran these cables, and now I'm pulling it out. I built all this, and now I'm pulling it down." That's hard. That's hard. And we pull all the stuff out of the kitchen and the ovens. You know, I caught Mark's standing there. He's just looking. I said to him, "You okay?" He said, "Yeah, I'm fine." I said, "So much prayer gone into this. So much has gone into making this happen." And I could feel his heart, you know, I could feel the grief that he was feeling in the moment. And right now, you know, you're probably feeling a bit the same. There's a real sense that we've lost something pretty special. And it's true, you know, we have. And so it's okay to grieve. Yeah? Grieving is actually healthy, it's good for you. And so over these next few, you know, process what you need to process, and do business with God and talk to him about how you're feeling. We had a little chat at McDonald's on Thursday, didn't we, Faye, with, you know, a few of the key team from City Life, and Kev was there, and the guys that prepared the food, and, you know, and we just asked everyone to share about how they were feeling, where they were at. And pretty much everyone was saying there was this sense of loss, this sense of grief. You know, Dorothy, it was kind of, wow, I'm really missing this. I'm missing the privilege of serving food. I'm missing the privilege of interacting and communicating and loving on these people. And everyone had a slightly different perspective. You know, Kev, love you, man. He's a very quiet man out here in the back there, but he said, you know, this place gave me a reason to get out of bed in the morning, you know. And that's loss. That's loss, guys. That's heavy duty loss. And each of us are feeling it in a different way. We're in a different place. You know, Mark and Sue's sense of grief and loss is a really, they may not even cognitively be aware of that right now. But each of us are there, one way or another. There's a sense of grief and there's a sense of loss. And I think at the end of today, I'd like to just kind of pray into that with you, and for God to help us process what we've lost. But it's an interesting thing there, you know. God says, I'm doing a new thing. He's not being hard, but he said, forgetting the former things. So he's saying, deal with your loss, process your loss, the thing that you've lost. Don't keep hankering back there for the thing that you've lost. But start to prepare your heart and to start to prepare yourself for what I have for you. It's about to spring forth a highway, a river, in a new place, in a new way, doing a new thing. See, right now, if you look at it, go, well, there's not a whole lot going on. There's not a whole lot of life in this room. There's not a whole lot of activity. And the temptation can be to try and actually make something happen. But I want to tell you something, even though something looks dead, there's life there. In that seed, in the ground, but there's life there. In our front yard at the moment, we've got a beautiful rose garden. And the roses right now look pretty ordinary, don't they? You've seen our roses, Fred. There's just like a branch with a couple of offshoots. They look pretty ordinary. And I don't know what I'll put myself in the rose bush's shoes. So I wonder what the rose is thinking. Oh, this is no good. I want a flower. I want a flower. I want to shoot forth branches. I want leaves. I want to smell nice again. But it's just sitting there, a stick in the ground. Pretty lifeless, pretty useless, not very appealing to anybody. It's a stupid illustration. Doctor, you get where I'm coming at. It's all right. It's good. But it's not fighting the season. It's not saying this isn't right. This isn't happening. This shouldn't be happening to me. I'm a beautiful rose and I've got branches and leaves and I've got the most beautiful perfume. It's going, no, it's the middle of winter. This is where I should be right now. I'm in hibernation. And so I want us to apprehend the season that we're in right now, and not to try and fight it, and that's everything inside us wants to fight it, And I can see even in Mark and Sue, it's just been so tough because we just want to fight this. This isn't right. It's unjust. It's immoral. Whatever word you want to use for it, it's not right, and it hasn't been right. But yet somehow God's saying, chop, 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 chop. Not another chop. And, we've been looking at our prophetic words, Patricia Bootsma reading her words again. They've all been very encouraging. Pruning. She said, I see pruning, I see pruning, I see pruning. 4 times she says it. I see pruning. That's encouraging, Patricia. Thank you. Lily's word. There's a demolition coming of everything, of perceptions, of ideas, and the way you used to be, the way you used to do things. There's demolition coming. So she's very encouraging words, right? Man, I'm encouraged. But God is at work. He's getting us ready for something new. And right now, our job is to prepare ourselves for the new. Not to fight it, not to kick against it, not to criticize it, we just embrace it. This is where we are. This is who we are. I've got nothing to do in the office this week. Isn't that good? That's not true. Mark's left me a list about this long. But I'm stuck. You might even get a visit from me if you're lucky. It's all right. God wants to do something new. And we're in the season of preparation. And my little rose bush there, it's sitting there dormant, but it's being sneaky. It's preparing little places for buds to shoot and for branches to grow and for leaves to come out, and for it's kind of there. It's just chilling in the cold, preparing for the new life. Will it not spring forth? And at some point in early September, and by November, we've got the best rose bushes in the street, don't we, Mel? That's right. They're awesome. There's yellow ones and red ones and white ones and purple ones and lovely smelly ones. But it's been through the process of winter. It's been through the season. And it's come out double the size it is. Attractive, beautiful. People want to come and look at it. They want to take cuttings. I said, give me a bit of that. And that's where God's taking us. That's what God is doing with us, in us and through us. And so, Mark's been talking about metamorphosis, about change, and right now we're just a little grublet in the cocoon that's half caterpillar, half butterfly, but grappling with change. And we have to die to ourselves, die to anything that was before, so that we can take up the new. Forgetting those things that are behind us, we're going to press on to the things that God has for us. So, what can we do? What can we do in this season? What can we do? I see that here, Trent. That's right.
I'd say we prepare for a new season.
We prepare for the new season. Yay, Tone. That's awesome. Evangelize. Fertilize the rose. Fertilize the rose bush. My goodness. There we go. Fertilize the rose bush. We'll put some nutrition into the rose, but I think that's really good. We can just chill, get our strength back. Rest in the Lord. Yay. When the Israelites were preparing to leave Egypt, Pharaoh said, get out of here. But on the night before that, they did something very interesting. They applied the blood to the lintels and the doorposts of their home. And very interesting. So we're getting ready to do something radical, to step into a new season. I feel like God's saying, hey, it's time to apply blood to the entry points in your life, in your heart, to get back to a place of fresh consecration and of separation and really hearing God's heart. And it's coming back to the cross and the simplicity of the cross. And saying, Father, in this season of change, it's, we need to be so in tune with what you're saying and what you're doing. And we want to prepare our hearts right now. We just, every access point into my heart, I'm just covering with the blood of Jesus. And I don't want to enter this new season with old baggage, because otherwise we'll be just, oh God, there's so much to do. This is incredible what you're doing, but I'm so caught up with stuff back here. And so, whatever that stuff is right now is the time to process that. Maybe you've got grief. Maybe that's something. Maybe you've been critical. Maybe you harbour unforgiveness. Maybe it's other stuff. Maybe you feel let down by God. Maybe you're disappointed. Could be a lot of things. But God wants us to be free. And one of the words over this house, if you remember, First the demolition and then the rebuilding. And the rebuilding is going to be a house of greater freedom, a greater sense of his presence, a new bridge into the community. And we're going to be greater than the former thing. And the glory of the latter house will be greater than what we've ever seen before. We thought that was pretty good. But the new is going to be incredible. And we need to step into the new free. Completely free. Completely free. Physically, emotionally, spiritually free. And that's the journey that we're on right now. And I tell you, I'm not going to click my fingers at the end of this service and go, hey, presto. There it is. It's something that we're going to have to work at, guys. We're going to have to work at it. It's not going to come easy. This isn't easy. Sitting there isn't easy. Walking into something that someone else's isn't easy, but there's some humility, that we've had to learn over the last little bit, and there's probably a little bit more to go as well. And so God, we just humble ourselves to what you want to say, what you want to do in us and through us. So they applied the blood. And then the process of walking through the wilderness. It was a 40-year journey that in reality was only a 40-day trek. They left Egypt. It took them 40 years to step into the new day. It's a long time. If it takes us 40 years to step into the new day, there's a few of us that ain't going to be here. Yeah, people are hanging around. And Kane will be about 65. I remember when I was playing guitar at kindergarten. So we don't want to go on a 40-year journey, do we? I'm not up for that. I'm not up for that. I want to deal with my heart now. I want to prepare my heart now. And when we get to that place, we can say, yep, we're taking it. But what was the thing? What was going on in the hearts? Again, you kind of heard this little saying before, but the Israelites stepped out of Egypt, but there was a lot of Egypt left inside of them. And so, if we can deal with that, let's deal with it now. And I'm using that as a metaphor for things that were in the past. The other thing, they're in the desert. And suddenly they start paying out on Moses. Poor old Moses. He's just been incredible. He's led them over the water, over the Silver Sea part. God provided. Come on, Moses. We're sick of this manna. Come on, Moses. We got no food. Come on, Moses. And what they start to murmur, they start to gossip, they start to complain. Ooh. Ugly stuff in here. That Mark Whitby, he's got no idea what he's doing. He's useless. He's hopeless. We can start to criticize. We can start to criticize our leadership. We can start to criticize the people around us. If only I told him 5 years ago. If we don't, this is going to happen. So your judgmental heart, your judgmental attitude, your gossip, whatever else is going on in there, if you want to step into the new, you're going to have to process that stuff. You have to deal with it. You have to shift in your attitude. It's pretty hard, pretty solid. But I've got to look at me. I'm not having to go at anybody else. I'm just looking at me, right? So God wants people with a soft, pliable, tender heart. And so it's time to concentrate, apply the blood, and then to deal with our hearts. Their lack of faith, their lack of trust, they're having a go at the leadership. But what they did do well, they just stuck with the cloud. They followed the cloud. The pillar of fire by night, the cloud by day. And wherever that cloud went, they went. And so in this season of uncertainty, we're not going to make a whole bunch of quick decisions, and that's just because we want something to do. We're just going to say, God, what are you saying? God, what is it that you have for us? And we're not moving until God shows us what that is. You know, Jesus speaks to the disciples and says, guys, I'm about to do a new thing. I'm going to leave you, but I'm about to do a new thing. But don't do anything. Go and find yourself an upper room. Sit there and pray. Sit there. Don't try and make anything happen. But there's going to come a day when you'll be endued with power from on high. And so in preparing for our new season, it's a preparation of applying the blood, of dealing with our hearts, of following the cloud, and just waiting on God. Saying, God, we know you've got something incredible. You're doing something amazing. And we're just going to sit here until you show us what that is. Sound of the rushing mighty wind. It was clear. It was clear. There was no denying it. We're just going to sit here and we're just going to let the little buds form. We're just going to sit here and allow God to work this caterpillar over until the wings are there and it's ready to fly. We're going to hide in our little cocoon. And it might look like there's not a whole lot happening. It might look like this place is a little dull and a little lifeless. Not that it ever will be. But you know what I'm saying. Allow God to do what he needs to do. Let's not fight the season, but let's embrace it when it comes. But right now, we just get ready. We just get ready. Now this is a collective word, right? This is us, Jubilee Church, Frankston. It's a collective word. But I want to tell you, where whatever's going on in your world, whatever's going on in your orbit, I can almost guarantee there's a sense of that. There's a sense of shift or uncertainty, in your environment, maybe in your workplace, or whatever you're involved in. There's a sense that God's doing something new. There's a shifting, there's a shaking, there's a stirring. And so that's okay, because that's what he's doing with all of us. Do not remember the former things, nor consider the things of old. Behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. Shall you not know it? I will even make a road in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. Amen. That's his promise to us. It's his promise for you. It's his promise for me. It's up to grab hold of it and to prepare our hearts.